Hi, and welcome back to your Everything Microsoft Enterprise Cloud Architect. I'm Rob Thomas, and today we're going to cover part two of Microsoft Azure free account and services. All right, so in part one, we covered Azure's free account and all the always free goodies you get. If you missed that, go check it out. First, now let's dive into our 12 months of free services and how to maximize them and how to avoid the stuff that can accidentally cost you money. But before we get started, without further ado, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors. And that is going to be our Enterprise Software Solutions team. These are our software dudes. These guys are great. Highly recommend them on your journey of purchasing any Microsoft 365, Microsoft Dynamics, Copilot, Azure, Windows Server, Microsoft SQL Server, and any Microsoft products. They also support Cisco and Adobe products. They have a great portfolio of great customers they work with. I highly recommend them. So by all means, reach out to them. All right, let's jump back into this. So we're going to pick up where we left off. So in part two, right, we were really just talking about this version, the free account. I'll go back to the website, talking about the $200 in free credit, how it is always free for 30 days. But today we're going to spend a little bit more time digging into this piece, right? So we're going to really talk about, after your 30 days is up and the pay as you go. Now, as you know, Microsoft gives you 12 months of free access to some of its most popular services. And here's a few highlights. The Microsoft Virtual Machines, B1S, you get 75 hours per month free, which is enough to run one VM continuously. Azure SQL database, which is about 250 gigabytes for a single database. Great for learning Microsoft SQL and for testing production-like workloads. You get a block storage, which stores about 5 gigs of data with 20K reads and 10K writes per month. And then Azure Files, 100 gigabytes of storage for shared files systems. And managed disk space, which is 2 PEs, STD, solid state drives, and then 64 gigabyte each. So that's a lot for value for learning and experimentation, right? So let's just quickly jump back to the site. So again, you go here, if you click on sign up, I'll give you some information, but you want to click on, see the free services here. So if you click here, it'll take you here, and then you can see all the exploring the free services, free items. Some things I want to show you that were really valuable is the pricing and a calculator. So let's quickly jump into that. This is also a directory. This is going to break down each item. You can kind of look at the product and the pricing, stuff like that. Just kind of give you that piece. But this pricing calculator is valuable, highly valuable. Use this all the time. Just the first one here, you can click on, storage accounts, Azure SQL Server to just give you a calculator and estimate. So I clicked on this first one. If I scroll down, you'll see, this is just really cool. You can see like I have a virtual machine, upfront cost, to give you an idea of what I would pay, like full price. I'm using it very fully. We mentioned in the previous video, we'll talk about the different zones, like Azure zones. So you could see the zones here. And, you can get a really good feel. So in the U.S., you have Central, East, North, South, West. Again, these are important, right? And you're learning that wherever you roll up this VM, it needs to be close. So I'm in California. So if you're in California, I'm going to do it on West, right? So it's going to be a West, not West 2, not West 3, but I play like regional West. But if I was in Virginia, I'm going to do it on East, or Miami or New York. I'm going to do it on East, right? If I was in the UK, South UK, I'll do the UK South, the West, stuff like that. So I'm spinning it up in a region it's closer to the data farm, so I don't have any performance issues, right? I'm going to choose an operating system, Windows and Linux. I'll do a future video explaining the difference, but for now, Windows is pretty cool. When you get advanced, like I worked with enterprise companies, so we've moved from Windows to Linux systems because the Linux system was supported by those vendors that are building different products. So they're more command based. They're not like a snaggy UI. So Linux is you're gonna run a lot of commands, right? And this is pretty typical. You get a lot of Linux servers with SQL Server that's on it. You have other options, but you can see here Ubuntu, Red Hat, and so forth. But you get but I'll just say here, Windows, SQL, pretty standard. And then you'll get like the standard. I'm just showing you this so you could see what you're able to do, kind of how you can fool around with this to give you an idea of like, I'm buying a license. This is what it's going to cost me, right? I'm one core. So I have one CPU core that's running 0.75 gigs of RAM, 20 gigabytes of temporary storage, right? This is going to cost me $1.52 per hour, right? I'm going to go 2 cores, $1.68, right? So if I'm running, and this is a monthly estimate, so I'm using this all the time, or I can switch to pay as you go, right? To really kind of control the costs. But so you could kind of see here, just kind of give you just an idea of how to break these down. I'm going to go to, manage disk. I could do that. I could add, how many disks I have on here and how much that's going to cost me. Like storage transactions. Let's say like that, and bandwidth. I wouldn't say AGs, but it doesn't matter. Output transaction. So, and then I could just keep going. I could do more virtual machines. You can see what monthly cost, what's going to look like, upfront cost, 0. So this, I just wanted to show you, this is a really, really, really powerful calculator tool that's just going to help you kind of get an idea of where you're going when it comes to cost. So there's no hidden costs or hidden pitfall. So there's no gotchas, right? Using different VM sizes than B1S, that's billable, exceeding storage or API request limits. Could be ching ching. You could just, it's going to cost you. Service like Azure Kubernetes services, AKS, give you free clusters management, but you pay for the VMs running inside the clusters. So this is where people get tripped up. So keep a close eye, right? Come to here, kind of understand where you're going to go, what the cost is going to be like, with the cost calculator, kind of get a feel for this. But it'll give you some insights. Now, thankfully, Azure gives you tools to stay on top of this. So inside the portal, you can spending alerts, budget limits, forecast. So you can see what the cost is going to look like. So cost management tools, like this is really a good cost management tools. And then, usage tools when you're actually in a platform where you purchase and everything, you're able to see that. So there's no, hidden gotchas. So I hope this was helpful. Like I really took some time to kind of show you the calculator. I showed you the free services here. I'll just recap. Here you go. Here you can see all the free services, right? What you're going to get for free. And then you can just go into these items like piece by piece, 50 virtual networks, always free, 12-month virtual machines, right? So you can say B1, 12 months. So they just kind of give you an idea where you're at, right? So hope this was helpful. I covered this. Once you could just set this up, and if you wanted to kind of consume, you'll start using a $200 credit, and then after that, you're going to go as a pay as you go, right? So use the $200 credit wisely, explore the free services, and track your usage. Again, so hope this was helpful. Hope you got a lot of value out of it. Again, hope you use the calculator, go in here, kind of play around in the environment. And the next video in part 3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time and just show you really quickly how to set this up, put your credit card information, get it in there. They won't charge you for 30 days. And you're just being wise on how to use this. You just use a free service, so you'll get no charge, right? So smash the like button if this video was helpful. Drop a question in the comment. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips in cloud automation and tech tools. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.